up, everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. We're coming at you with a super spicy episode 350, and technically the start of season 8. Yeah.
Yay!
We're recording November 3rd, 2025 at 9 a.m. I'm Doug. Joining me today, we got Warren.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Anita.
Hello.
Happy 350!
Yay.
Quick reminder, check out SojuTalk on your favorite podcast platform. Sub to us on YouTube. Join the SojuTalk Discord and be a part of the nation. All right, we're recording. Warren has some work stuff, so we're recording early in the morning. That does have some kind of consequence, though, because one of the songs we're covering today released like 4 hours ago. So we'll give you the nation score and the final score next week. That's the only real consequence there. Announcements, after hours, we do have one today. The three of us submitted anonymous hot takes to a spreadsheet thing or something, and we're gonna say the hot takes and we'll see what happens. We'll talk about them, and then finally we're gonna skip 1 week and we'll be back on November 17th because of work stuff.
Yes. To be very transparent, I'm going through a busy patch of work at the moment, and then after that there will be some like family stuff coming up. So our release schedules might be a little jumpy here and there. I apologize in advance. We will try to make up where we can.
It'll be a little patchworky till the end of the year, but we'll figure it out, guys. Don't worry.
Holiday season, Mm-hmm.
All right, let's just get into it. It is early in the morning. I am in my morning bathrobe that I wear around the house. Let's just do the big new releases. We got 3 songs. We have Choerry with Pressure, xikers, Superpower, Peak, and I-dle's Miyeon with Say My Name. Let's start at the top. We have Choerry with Pressure. She is from Mod House. And then her solo track back during the pre-debut Luna days was Love Cherry Motion, which is a good one.
Great song.
Hey guys, we got this song Pressure here. I thought it's kind of fun. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun. I thought it was, you know, though it's more apparent, more of these Artemis solo things where they gave each kid like $20K to make this music video and just do it up.
They're starting to look a little similar, like the camera work and some choices.
Hey, but to be fair, you at home, you wish your group would all get individual songs too. Just say it. Just say it. Just say it. So we'll take what we can get here.
This is a bit of a luxury. I will not complain about that.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about this track?
I like it. I like it as well. I think this sound fits her. The aesthetic was also very, very nice. I think it had like a very like internet digital aesthetic, but cute. I thought it was quite trendy. It made sense. Overall, I think this might be like my favorite so far of the solo releases.
Ooh. I mean, if I'm I would agree with that, but also like I've only checked out 2 of these. So I haven't checked out the other one. I know we did Jinso last week. Yeah, I haven't checked out the Kim Lip one. So I'm not sure exactly what that one's like, but do I like this more than Jinso's track? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I do, for sure.
I do too.
I think so too. I think so too.
Okay. I'm sure.
This one feels a little more focused in like what we're trying to do. Like you mentioned, it has that internet aesthetic to it, both in the sound and the visual too. Like,
right. Yeah.
It's so very clearly inspired by Plug and B music, like the kind of mellow trap music that was really popular on the internet for like a good while, maybe a year or so ago, and I don't think it's out of trend either. It's still very relevant. There's this nice there's these like mellow synth leads, sounds in the background that sit there while with like you have those like melodic EP pianos, the Rhodes, then you got those like aggressive trap drums and the blaring 808s, and this creates like this nice like what's that Sanrio character, the pink and black one? It's like
pink and black,
the slightly
Kurumi?
It's got
Kurumi?
yeah. It's like
She's purple and black.
I'm sorry. I apologize to all my Sanrio listeners out there. But it's if I think of Kurumi, this is like the musical equivalent of that, where it has that like QC moment to it, but also this like aggressive side.
Bit of an edge. Okay.
In K-pop, we had this sound a little bit with Magnetic. That was, I think, the biggest hit for like this kind of aesthetic. And I think there are some parallels between that track and this track, where this track almost feels like a bit of a watered down version of it. I don't hate that. I don't hate it. You know what I mean?
You know what, Warren? F you. I was having a good time till you ruined it for me, dude. You mentioned this Magnetic shit when we first started this call, and I was like, no, it literally sounds like it. The you part, like, oh my god. Yeah.
The chorus is there's a parallel. I'm not saying she's copying off of each other. That's not happening here. But I'm feeling a parallel. And I feel like that's where in the chorus, like, it's not catchy. I think it's somewhat catchy, but it's not strong enough, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know.
It's more chill, I guess.
It's overall a little more chill.
Yeah.
I don't hate that, but
I saw some comments saying, like, I think the root of these comments were like, it needs more energy somehow, more oomph somehow. And so I saw people suggesting they should have sped it up a little or made it more dynamic. And I don't completely disagree with these kind of suggestions for this track. I feel like it could have benefited from, like, it is catchy for what it is, but it doesn't have like the impact that you would want for this type of song, I think.
Yes, and like I think there's ways to have like this style of music, like plug and B music. A lot of it is never like too hype. It's not anything that's like super dynamic in terms of energy. But this one, I don't know. It felt like less of chill and relaxed and more like just slow down. I do hear that comment. I do see it. I typically don't think speeding things up is an answer, but I don't know. Maybe that's one way to do it. I don't know. I like Choerry's voice though. Like I like her voice. I think it fits this aesthetic, and it sounds really good. Maybe that's what you meant, Nita. It's like this going along, suiting her really well.
No, I think it made sense for her vocal tone. I'm also thinking like her other solo track, Love Cherry Motion, which is one of my favorite ones back in the Luna era. So yeah, I think this makes sense for her. I'm kind of glad that they kind of kept some of that vibe, like more cutesy side with a little bit of an edge, because I think that's what Love Cherry Motion also had. So I don't mind this. I guess I'm okay with the chill vibe as opposed to like it being more like dynamic or sped up, which I mean, I think it could make it more interesting to some people, but I thought this was, I see where they were going with it. I think it still works in a way.
What'd you guys think of the music video?
Like I said, I feel like we're starting to feel very similar to the other ones.
I mean,
but I understand why. I know there was a budget.
It didn't help that there was one outfit, you know. Like let's be honest here.
I mean, it was a good outfit, you know.
I mean, it was a great outfit. It
got
fit.
a sword on one hand and like wings coming out.
There was a sword with a GoPro on it, I think, at one point too, right? And then they got a random McLaren 720, and then a cop rolled by. I don't know if that was planned or not, but it was.
I know where she filmed. That is like on the way. Yeah, okay. No, she's on. That is like one of the roads. You get out of the highway, the expressway, and like that's like one of the entrances into Hangang, where like there's like a drive-over.
Well, they took Jaden's McLaren and they parked it there, and then the cop rolled by, and it was like, "What the f are y'all doing?"
It's a very suburban area with like apartments next to you, and like typically you have kids going to Hagwons. Like I was like, "What are you doing here?" Like.
Overall, though, I do think that this kind of low budget aesthetic actually kind of fit this song kind of well. And there was a lot of editing, like things like they had a certain thing. It looked like they were in Paint or on like Windows XP at a certain point.
Yeah.
And then they did have like Hello Kitty-esque cats on the screen at a different point, right? So I think overall they understood what they were trying to go for. Overall, for me, I was pretty impressed. I feel like Choerry's one of those members of Luna/Artemis that kind of like doesn't get a lion's share of the attention in that group. And I think it's kind of a shame because I think her voice was really nice on this track as a whole. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I cannot speak for Kim Lip's solo release. I apologize for not doing my research in advance. But let's go back to what we said at the very top. This versus Jinsoul's what was the track called? Ring of Chaos.
Ring of Chaos. Yep.
I definitely now that we've had this discussion for a bit, I definitely feel like this is something I prefer a little more than Ring of Chaos. It feels more focused. It feels more appropriate to what Choerry's already good at. Maybe it's not like the highest budget or in production, and it also does not feel like it doesn't feel like a typical K-pop A release in the way that it has like crazy moments or like, you know, the vocals feel a little more relaxed and like we're talking about energy levels here and like all that, you know, all that being said, I still prefer this over Ring of Chaos. Like it feels just less sterile and more like they had an idea of what they wanted to do. Maybe it wasn't the craziest unique expression of it, but you know, it works.
It was there.
Yeah.
It was fun. I thought it was fun. I think we're good for this one. Let's pivot. Next, we have xikers with a Superpower Peak there from KQ Entertainment. Last 3 songs, Breathe, Which We Don't Stop. Guys,
Yeah.
Superpower
Man.
laser.
Here's my I'm gonna get to the conclusion first, right?
Superpower laser.
While I'm having a difficulty like digesting xikers as a group and their music. I don't know. You know how I say sometimes. You know how I say this group makes me feel really old and disconnected. This is one of those groups, guys.
Doug, no, you're not 45 yet. You can't tell me this. We're too early for this.
I'm old. I'm sitting in a bathrobe recording this shit, and I feel wide awake at 9 a.m. I feel like I'm pretty old at this point, you know? Here's the thing. I think that the kids got a lot of spunk. That also sounds really old to me. These kids got a lot of spunk.
A lot of energy.
These kids got moxie, you know? I see what they're doing here with the song, but like at the same time, it's like I think there's a novelty to the way KQ presented ATs and when they go like do these fun, spontaneous, energetic songs. But with the xikers kids here, it's like they're saying like we're at our superpower, we're at our peak. I'm like a laser here. But at the same time, it's like y'all are on the come up still. You know, that's how I feel about this group.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't say you're at your peak yet. That's like
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just feel a little disconnected. But how do you guys feel? I could be completely contrarian to you guys.
I thought it was interesting that this group made you feel like old, because to me the sound sounded like something I've heard a while ago. Like, and something in the synths, the instrumental felt very like late 2000s, early 2010s.
I can dissect that so well. We'll get that when you get there. Yes. But yeah,
I think there was also an auto-tune vocal effect in the pre-chorus that also added to that made me feel like, wow, I'm back in like 2009.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it was an interesting choice because I feel like, we're going back to this vibe. But I guess also combined with more modern sound here and there. And also at that dance break at the end, I feel like was very much something that I would have expected maybe 10, 15 years ago. But I don't know. I I guess I'm comparing this to Breathe, right? Because which I think was another track that we covered from them. And it feels like Breathe was even more like catering to the trends of today, like more modern era sound. So I don't know, maybe this will be a trend where we're just going back to like 2009 club sound music for sure. Like this is now established.
I think you hit all the beats that I wanted to talk about. Let's just wrap the show.
Oh. No. What did it remind you of? Because you mentioned something specifically.
Yeah, no, because I went to the same inspo and like I was like, this sounds just like the song I sang at karaoke on Halloween night, which is like a G6 by the 4/8 movement. Which like that is like peak hip hop club music of the late 2000s. That is like peak. Not to be too on the nose here, but like that was.
Okay. That would have passed.
It's too early in the morning. I didn't catch that
shit out. You would have gotten a pass there, dude. Oh my god.
That was back when like we were all doing like autotune heavy, synth heavy, club electro hip hop music, like Black Eyed Peas, like a G6 Kesha, like that was the whole vibe, and that led into the era of like LMFAO and doing electro house music for a while. The thing is, that's definitely cool again. Let's start there. That's definitely having a moment. Choerry kind of brought it back into the limelight. And now there's this extremified version of electro house music that is really, really popular, both in the underground scene and like this niche pocket of pop music, where like people like Taylor is obviously not a part of this, or like Sabrina. No. But like within Korea, you got people like System Soul, and like people like Kim Gan, or like all these hyper pop derivatives who have shifted to doing electro pop music. The EK's last album, who shifted from doing like hard spitting rap music to like club, let's get high kind of music all of a sudden. This aesthetic is definitely having a moment, but the difference here feels like instead of buying like, okay, this is gonna be a really niche analogy, and I don't know if it's gonna fly, but like, okay, right now, barrel leg jeans are having a moment. These balloon fit barrel leg jeans, like look it up if you don't know what it is. They fit like a clown. I personally think it looks great. I think it's dope. The issue is, some people look at that, misunderstand the assignment, and then go rummage through their father's closet, and they find a bag of Jenkos from like the 90s, which sometimes it works. It requires a certain
still.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. Kind of trendy still.
Right, kind of trendy still, but like it's slightly different. The aesthetic that's trending right now, Y2K, versus what was actually in the 2000s, I don't know, slightly different. And that's where I picked up on stuff like the synth sounding a little out of date. You mentioned the auto-tune, and it's the kind of auto-tune that's not very popular at the moment. Like, this is gonna sound weird as hell, but like there's a certain type of very fast auto-tune that's really trendy right now, that got brought into the limelight by folks like Don Toliver or like Travis Scott, and like within Korea, people like Cordis or like Sikay.
I was gonna say Cordis,
right? Yeah. Have been doing they've been doing a great job of like translating that to a Korean language. I think that's been all dope. You look at this version, however, it feels like we are using like the same preset we used for 7 back in the day. Like, remember 7?
Oh, 7. The artist soul singer. 7.
Oh my god.
7EN, that dude. Like Rain.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like
Rain. I thought of Rain too.
Yeah, no. Feels like that. And it's not. That's definitely not good. Now, credit where credit is due. I think some of these rappers are onto something. I particularly liked the second set of verses more than the first set of verses, which I believe their names are Minjae and Sumin. I liked their voices. It was very unique. Their flows were really relaxed, and all of it felt a lot more appropriate. first couple guys, I don't know, maybe a little too over the top for me. Not my style. But then that was paired with this very aggressive NCT style yell chorus, which I don't know. I think sometimes it works. This track, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
It was kind of chanty. Like I was like, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
It also sounded to me, the intro sounded a lot like Stray Kids Ceremony. To the point where I had it on a second screen while I was doing something, and I thought, did my playlist jump off of the songs this week?
Oh,
just pick up a random K-pop music video, and then I looked and I was like, oh no, we're still listening to xikers. I don't know if that's a little damning. It is a little bit, honestly. If you listen to this intro and you listen to the Stray Kids Ceremony intro, it is very similar. It's a little bit of a different sound effect, but the cadence is very similar.
Yeah, the synth is different, but it's the bum 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 and like the melody slightly different for Stray Kids, but it is a very popular melody line in like hip hop music, and like it definitely works in certain cases. Like I could mention a couple Kid Millie tracks that use that kind of sample loop, but
I guess for me the end result of this group is like, I thought the rapping was okay, but I leave this group saying like, okay, they're trying really hard, they got something going here, but I want to end watching a music video and being like, this group is really good at this, like, wow, their stage presence was fantastic, or wow, the singing was outrageous, or the rapping was incredible for an idol group, right? And I leave this Superpower peak being like, okay, that was a song, right? And I think that's my inherent issue with this song specifically.
I'm gonna add on to that a little bit and maybe foreshadow our conversation later for the show at the end of the show, but I was actually watching this music video last night. I had a friend over. We were just hanging out. I was like, dude, I got to do this podcast tomorrow. Do you want to just like check this out with me? Just like, guy's not like a heavy K-pop listener. Like he listens to Le Sserafim. He's like Korean.
Mainstream stuff.
Right. Yeah. He's like, he listens to mainstream stuff. He also has a very wide ear of like being a very average general public guy that leans towards like rock music. I was just hanging out and we play the Choerry thing, and he's like, it sounds like plug and B music, makes sense. Girl group stuff, I guess. And then we go into this xikers Superpower stuff, and he's like, mind you, this is a very like straight male, like he doesn't care for a lot of the boy groups, but he's like, a lot of these boy groups, I cannot tell them apart from each other.
Well,
They put out very similar strains of hip hop based electro, and like he was like, oh, like people like Tua stand out, and like that was really cool, but like,
right, yeah,
we had this very lengthy conversation about so much of the aesthetics being recycled, and like there are definitely like minute differences between like nuanced differences between like all these artists, but at the same time, in the general scope of pop music, it feels like we tend to choose and focus on a couple strains a lot, and like this one in particular has been there's been a lot of successful moments from the mid 2010s, which is about 10 years now, considering we're in the mid 2020s. So he was like, why should I listen to this when like we had boy groups doing some variant of hip hop music 10 years ago? And I struggled to find an answer, if I'm completely honest.
I mean, my other inherent issue with xikers, I've mentioned this, I think a couple releases back from them, is that they have 10 members and it feels like it's too many, and it shouldn't feel that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, they got 10 members in this group, that's a lot of members for this song, right? I don't think I think I even previously mentioned, I still agree that they need to find a better way to utilize that they got 10 members, because the fact that they're very hip hop focused inherently means that 4 dudes are like, let's say there's 4 dudes are rapping and they get the lion's shares of attention then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the problem they get into.
What works for the song, like I mentioned earlier, which was like, for me, that was the back-to-back 8-bar moment in the second verse. And that works because each member gets 8 bars. Like, that would not have worked if you were doing 2-2-2, you know, like something like that, which is more typical in K-pop music. It only works because each member gets their own moment to shine. But like, that comes at the cost of like, you know, I'm looking at these line distributions and I'm seeing certain colors only for like 3 lines each, and like that's not very exciting, you know. You know, like I'm looking at Hyunwoo over here, who's got like 4 bars right before the first chorus, and then another 2 at near the end. It's not very exciting, you know. I'd feel bad. I'd feel angry if I was Hyunwoo.
At the end of the day, I think KQ's still gonna have to work out how to navigate having ATs and xikers at the same company, and their music, I think, still and their identities of the group still have a lot of overlap, and I think they're gonna have to work through that as a whole.
Okay, one thing I did want to call out though, positively, maybe, a transition moment for these kids, because I'm looking at their press releases, and this is supposedly the final end to their House of Tricky series. Not House of Trickery, just House of Tricky.
Okay.
This has been their EP series since their debut. They released 6 EPs: House of Tricky, Doorbell Ringing, House of Tricky, How to Play, House of Tricky, Trial and Error, yada yada yada, and now we're at House of Tricky, Wrecking the House. So in the press release, it also says xikers is fully grown and does no longer needs a house to stay in. They will push down the house that they have used as a place to escape to and progress forward to the world is what's written here.
That's good. Let's do that. I'm down for that. Let's go.
Maybe a change.
You know what's fun fact? KQ Entertainment, their artists are AT xikers. The third one you would never guess in a million years, Sohyang, the gospel singer.
Oh.
She's at their company for some reason. You would never guess that. All right.
Is she in that intro where like you see those artists?
I don't know, but at the KQ Entertainment proper, it's AT xikers and Sohyang. I don't know, dude.
Okay.
All right, let me pivot. Final song this week. We have I-dle's Miyeon with Say My Name. She is from Cube. Other tracks released from her. The pre-release Reno featuring Cold. We have Skywalking, and we have Drive. Is it Cold or Colde? I don't know how to pronounce it. Cold. Okay.
Yeah. Cold with an E for some reason, but yeah.
So, okay, let me just get to the funny thing first. We have people in the Discord. So this song came out maybe 3-4 hours ago, right?
Yeah.
People in the reaction to this music video are saying, "Yikes, we voted for the wrong Miyeon song."
Guys.
But to be fair, it's not like they knew. You would assume the title track is better than the pre-release, typically speaking, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't disagree with them either, right?
I see where they're coming from.
I see where they're coming. It's a lot more dynamic. The song featuring.
Do you want to talk about Reno briefly? Like, what? I have not heard this. Sell me this track. Why should I listen to Reno?
Okay, okay. The real selling point of the track is that this Say My Name song, the one we're actually talking about this week.
Yeah,
it's just a little bit boring. You know this Cold, this Reno featuring Cold. There's like fun stuff going on in it. Like, that's like on a base level. That's the comparison between the two songs. Like Miyeon's playing like there's like more character, there's more personality, and the music video is quirkier. Like she's a murderer in this Reno song.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I don't know what to say. Say My Name is the official title track.
Yes, it is. It is.
It happens. Look, we'll try to maybe we'll cover Reno in the future if people want us to cover it. I'm also seeing that it's racked up nearly 10 million views on YouTube already. So I don't know. I mean, let's bring the conversation back to Say My Name. I
mean, inherently, there's nothing too bad with Say My Name. But like honestly speaking, to be completely truthful, like people are going to like Say My Name because you like Miyeon, right? She's a funny person. She sings well. But the song itself on a song level, it's just kind of like, you know, if you listen to the Say My Name song, you're like, all right, I've heard this type of song many times before, right? Do you guys agree with that, Anita?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with it. I think I also had to double check that I was checking out the right song because it felt quite I don't know if I want to say underwhelming, but like whelming.
Shitty,
like it was very middle of the road, quite safe. I felt like this type of vibe reminded me of when we had a lot of like pop ballads that you would hear in like coffee shops, like that type of stuff that is very easy listening, like that you could just play and it's not super exciting, but it's also not like terribly slow. It's somewhere in the middle. And I mean, overall, I don't think it's a bad song. I think there's some interesting stuff happening in like how the song builds, like the way the instruments start coming in after that first chorus. That was nice. Also, the melody, the top line in the chorus is actually quite nice. I thought it was pretty good. It was catchy enough to me where I felt like, okay, yeah, I could see where they were going with it. But it is for the title track, I guess. I thought it was going to be something a little more exciting, a little more dynamic, and the music video too. I think, to be honest, I think the music video is what confused me the most because it's just following Miyeon around, walking, looking at the camera, like very, very much like shots just focused on her. Like she's not even singing, like lip syncing to the song, to the track. So it felt like I felt a little confused as to what we were going with. The only explanation that I can have for it is that she wanted to just focus more on the singing, like the vocals. So that was supposed to be the main, like the highlight of the song. So nothing else was really pushed forward. Maybe they thought it would be a distraction. I don't really know, but that's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, the two things interesting about the music video was one was like she picked out her drink immediately. Like she didn't like. I don't know if you've ever been to a convenience store, but like when I go, like I'm like,
store?
Yeah, like which do I want, the Diet Coke or the Diet Pepsi? Like which one do I want, or do I want the zero Coke?
I always get the same shit. I know what I want. I get yellow Gatorade.
She immediately stepped in and she was like, I'm getting this thing, and we don't even see what she picked out. It could have been. The other thing was like she was like wasn't she like following this dude from like the tunnel to the subway to like.
Well, I thought that wasn't quite clear because I think she was doing. There were a lot of shots of her looking back at the camera too.
I thought, yeah. I thought it was more like, you know that meme, like I see you everywhere after you broke up. Like I thought it was one of those situations where like they broke up, but she's seeing this person all over the place. You know, I thought it was something like that.
The music I felt was actually, you know what, that's a better interpretation of it than I thought. I was like, why is she stalking this dude? Like it was like, that's not it. Sorry. The song itself, I think, Anita, you were being very nice. I thought it was a little mid. In a very dictionary sense. Like we have the classic, you know, piano, like top heavy pianos, guitar, you know, these like folk pop guitars in the background, you know, the drums come in after the first chorus. Like this is very stereotyped cliche. We're setting up for an emotional acoustic moment. Yeah, kind of a, you know, like kind of a sound. It's very millennial pop coded, which, you know, isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's not something I'm like particularly excited about at the moment. But I did think the strongest aspect of the song was definitely Miyeon's voice. She sounds great. She sounds, I mean, not that she's ever sounded bad, but like, I think the objective of this release was probably to showcase how good of a vocalist Miyeon is without doing just a straight ballad song. And I don't know, it almost had this Taeyeon-like quality to her voice. Where Doug is grimacing, he's like, fuck you at the moment. But like,
all I'll say is Miyeon's a good singer, but there's levels. That's what I'll say.
Damn.
So you disagree?
That's what I'll say.
I'll
agree to disagree.
I'm not saying she sounds just good as Taeyeon. I'm saying there's Taeyeon-like qualities. Maybe some inspo. I don't know.
Fair.
I thought a lot about I by Taeyeon while listening to this.
I also thought Fine. Is that Fine?
Fine.
All
Yeah.
right. That one. I thought it was similar to that too.
I was thinking a lot about yeah.
Yep. Those songs are kind of similar. Yeah.
But I don't know. Other than that, like it feels like each section of the song. While I like the melody, I think the melodies are great.
Okay. Yeah.
But it also felt like each section was being very rushed into each other. Like whenever there was a build up section, whenever we hit that moment, it felt like the transition was not there, and we just rushed straight into that section of the song. And it felt, I don't know, it felt like the pacing was off a little bit, even though we were trying to get this like emotional, sort of a song going. It really felt like we were not successfully building that. So that's where I was like, not creatively completely sold on this. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
The song's fine. She sings well. We had a good track here. I just feel like they should I gotta get back to the other track. They should have made the other track the title track. That's literally what I'm going to say. Like the other song has personality. There's choreography. There's finger guns at one point too. There's a sledgehammer in a dead body in the trunk of a car. Like these are all things that you go, that's kind of interesting. There's narration. Like why are we doing all of that in a pre-release? Yeah. It's just like I think you should have made. Instead of doing pre-release title track, they should have done Reno title track, Say My Name, B-side that came like a week after. I think that would have made way more sense. Like on an intrinsic level. I don't get it. I don't get it.
You may never get it.
I really don't understand. Also because she's promoting this Reno featuring Cold song like it's the title track, because she went on It's Live to sing Reno, not to sing this one.
Maybe now that this is out, she's gonna perform this one instead.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird to me, because it is a pre-release. I'm like, this is the one. Like clearly, I don't know what this decision was.
Here's the thing.
Okay,
I'm looking at the credits, and there's a full list of people who worked on the lyrics, composition, arrangement, because that's how typically production is laid out in Korea. But also, it also says the executive producer for all of these tracks is Miyeon.
Well, that's probably why then. I found my answer.
She wanted this sound, and she wanted to do this. Like, it sounds like she took creative control of all of this, and it was her choice to release this as a title track over Reno. Why? I don't completely exactly know, if I'm completely honest. Like you mentioned, sounds like Reno would make sense to be the more promo heavy title track, but maybe this speaks to her more. Maybe this was maybe she felt like this was a more truthful interpretation of who she wants to be as an artist. And I think the lyrics are really pretty too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not saying this song is like all bad. It's just I don't know. Like it ain't the most memorable song.
Let's just let me make one more quip before we transition. This is like the person that says one more line before they leave the room. There's like a little bit of a conflict, and they say something, and then they leave instantly, so there's no response. Right? Let me just do one of those things.
Okay.
just because someone has full creative control of the decision making doesn't mean that they make all the right decisions. Sort of like her group has that situation right now. Boom. Okay, let's go. Other songs this week include Team, Back to Life, We I, Home, 82 Major, Trophy, Lucy, Where's Your Love, Close Your Eyes, SOB with Imin Beck, who's a DJ. We have One Ho, If You Wanna, Extraordinary Heroes Lost and Found, B-side, Tempest in the Dark, DKZ, Replay My Anthem, Winner, Sungyoon with Me, Arc with Skid. And here's a fun fact. Within these other releases, one of these albums sold 1 million copies. Just saying.
Oh?
You guys can try to guess which one it is later, but we're gonna have it in the news section.
Okay.
But one of those songs I mentioned in the other releases, they sold 1.19 million copies of the album.
Okay.
Wow. Is it 82 Major?
No, it is not. 82 Major sold 99,000. We got SojuScore here. Last week on episode 349, we had Jinsoul Ring of Chaos with a 5.42. We had the Seraphim Spaghetti featuring J-Hope with a 6.15. Extraordinary Heroes, I See You with a 7.11. And the songs we're going to cover, we'll give scores to today are Choerry's Pressure, xikers Superpower Peak, and I-dle Miyeon Say My Name. Do we have any changing opinions of Spaghetti? Do we like it more or less a week out? Or is it about the same?
About the same for me.
Same.
I think.
Yeah, same. Oh, okay. Let me get the spreadsheet up. Okay. All right, the first song is Choerry with Pressure. Hey, I'm just going to say it. I thought this was a good song. 7. Boom.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
okay. I also had a good time with it. I do see where it might not be as exciting or as memorable for some people, but I thought it was pretty nice. So 6.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a part of it is the fact that I've heard too many songs of this aesthetic that have done, I think, a better job of like doing something better. But at the same time, I'm not gonna. I felt like this has that K-pop positive pro benefit to it. I have a 6.
All right, and SojuTalk Nation and Gochujang also voted. They gave this song a 6.95, so similar to me, and as a result, it gets a 6.49 for Choerry's Pressure.
Not bad at all.
Pretty good.
Not bad at all.
Next song we got is xikers with Superpower Peak. For me, this one was not peak. I gave it a 5. I thought this was a bang average, just there track.
I mean, I felt like this song had good moments, and I feel like if it was executed a little differently, like it would be more interesting. But I also have a 5.
Damn.
I felt like we misunderstood the assignment.
Oh.
I don't know. I understand what they were going for. I just don't think it hit. I have a 4.
Ooh.
The SojuTalk Nation and Gochujang also voted. It's you're gonna be surprised by this. 6.50.
Whoa.
Which is more of a product of, okay, so for clarity's sake, when we pick the songs, normally I announce to people Monday morning, I tag the people who want to be tagged, like, you got to score these songs. I tagged people yesterday, y'all got to score this Choerry song Zyker and Miyeon when it comes out, right? This Zykers, the 6.5 is a product of not that many people wanted to score this one. I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. So it's a little inflated, but it is what it is.
That's okay. We have a vocal minority. I love that.
If Choerry got like 20-30 votes of people, the Zyker thing's at like 10-15, like straight up. And as a result, it gets 5.13. So it kind of gets saved by them a little bit, you know? And then finally, we have Miyeon here. We're not going to give the Nation and Gochujang score this week because this song came out like 5 hours ago. But I gave this one a 6. I thought it was just good, but a little bit forgettable.
This is one of those few songs where I wish I could give a half point. Because it was between a 5 and a 6 for me. Because I don't think it was a terrible, slower pop ballad song, but I did feel that it was a little underwhelming, maybe whelming. But I'm going with a 5.
I think I see the benefit of the song. I see, I shouldn't say benefit, but I see the song being a very strong, great statement in terms of how good Miyeon's vocal is. I don't know. I think that was what I was really impressed about. Creatively speaking, it's not a song that I feel like I would be listening to very often. It's not something I was very moved by either. And I think there's a world where we can capture all that. So I have a banging average. I have a 6.
All right, so those are our scores. SojuTalk Nation and Gochu Gang. I think only like 4 people have voted so far. Probably our European friends. So we're gonna hold off on that next week, or in 2 weeks when we come back. I'll announce what her final score was.
Join the team.
So right now,
come to
right
the
now we have
Discord and vote.
Yeah, you could affect this Miyeon score, guys. So right now we have Choerry Pressure 6.49. We have Xikers with a 5.13, and then I-dle Miyeon is inconclusive, but we gave it a 6.5 and a 6. Finally, we're at show winners. Anita, hit us with them.
So we have 3. First off being Boy Next Door with Hollywood Action. They won on Show Champion, Music Bank, and Inkigayo. 3 wins so far. And then we have Hearts to Hearts with Focus. They won on the show. And then we have Hanwon.
He won a music show? I think I put the wrong show, but he won something, Anita, right?
Yes, he won for his release called Maybe Today.
Let me make sure. I'll go check real quick at the chart I use. He won on Show Music Core. So he won Saturday show over
Music
here.
Core.
Lee-chan is a trot singer who has also won a daesang in variety shows.
Really?
And this Maybe Today is a country song. So take that all in. It's straight country.
Wow.
I
like
might
kind of like
check it out.
Yeah, not like fast country, but like slow country on the prairie type song. Like it's kind of strange.
Trot is the Korean equivalent of American folk. American. What were you
country.
saying? Country.
All right, so that ends part 1. So we talk episode 350. We'll be back with the news and events. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, SojuTalk Nation. This is Anita here with a quick PSA. If you would like to support SojuTalk Kpop Podcast, please like, subscribe, or follow us on whatever platform you're using. And consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/SojuTalk or donating to us at paypal.me/SojuTalk. On behalf of the crew and myself, thank you. Now back to our regularly scheduled episode.
All right, we are back at it with part 2 of SojuTalk episode 350 with the news and events from the past week. Guys, we've been talking about this New Jeans Adore trial for like a year now. It has, the first domino, final finishing block has fallen. Let's go through it.
Okay.
So first thing, this one, it announced that the final trial, the conclusion concerning the validity of the contract dispute over the exclusive contract between New Jeans and Adore has begun. A verdict on the dispute is expected to be announced soon. A couple hours later, it came out. So the court officially has ruled in favor of Adore, upholding the validity of the exclusive contract with New Jeans. Quote, "It is difficult to view Adore as having violated the exclusive contract merely by dismissing former CEO Min Hee-jin." So for background, the court rejected New Jeans' claim that the dismissal or departure of Min Hee-jin from her role at Adore constituted a breach of contract sufficiently to justify termination of their own contract. In the judge's own words, quote, "The fact that Min Hee-jin was removed from her position as CEO does not in itself mean that the managerial vacuum was created or that Adore became incapable of filling its contractual obligation to the New Jeans members. The members' personal trust in Min Hee-jin alone does not establish that guaranteeing her position as CEO was a fundamental obligation under their exclusive contract."
Boy.
This was a possibility, yeah.
This is in line with what the courts have been like stating about this case, right? Like,
I mean, I think between the three of us, we've been pretty much saying that this has been writing on the wall situation where like while we were doing research, it seemed like unlike the Minijing case, this one it felt like it was a very it felt like okay, I love New Jeans. I want to get that straight first before anything else. And I really appreciate their music, and I really think their influence on the music industry so far has been really positive. Now, if the court ruled in favor of New Jeans, that sets a very dangerous pretense for
precedence.
Right. It's just a very dangerous precedence for like, you know, artist and company contracts going forward. Because like, it feels like up until now, you know, swapping out your CEO, while unfortunate, you know, swapping out your executive producer, while very unfortunate, has not been, you know, it's not been a good enough excuse to say, you know, like, oh, my contract has been violated. Unless, so we have been from very early on in this situation, we were saying stuff like, Minijin's got to be in the actual contract, or like there's got to be something we don't know that
I keep saying, where's the smoking gun, right? Like, where's the trump, the ace up the sleeve? So essentially, this is how I'll break it down. Let's say I got recruited to work at a company by a certain person who's going to be my boss, right? And this person obviously has higher bosses than them at the company, bigger people, right? Let's say I sign a contract with the company, I'm working, we're doing stuff, it's fine. And they fire the person who recruited me, my immediate boss, right? Just because they fired that person, if it's not written in my contract that this person has to be my boss, it is what it is. They're going to replace that person, right? That's essentially what this case is.
And the key difference between that analogy and this one, which makes it really that much more damning, is like, if I'm working for like, you know, Doug Entertainment Co., like, and like Doug gets swapped out to like, you know, like somebody named John Doe. If I work for Doug Entertainment, I can be like, sure, I'm out, whatever, bye, Felicia, I can just leave. But like, that would be if I'm an employee. This is different. They have a contract.
Yeah.
New Jeans isn't an employee of Adore. It's not a standard like New Jeans works for Adore situation. That's why some of the shit didn't fly with the workplace harassment case, because like at the end of the day, legally speaking, fundamentally, theoretically speaking, New Jeans does not work for Adore. This is an artist to label contract. So like, it's not something you can just voluntarily leave willy-nilly whenever you want. That's just how it works. That is built to be a safety guard for New Jeans, not, you know, Hybe, typically speaking. In this case, it's worked the other way around, and you'll see similar things happen in like maybe sports, for example. But what I've gathered from my research, and I encourage you to do your own research for this as well, because at the end of the day, SojuTalk, we are not a legal expert. We're just armchair legal experts here. It is based on the research I've been doing. It sounds like this was never a strong enough case to hold up in court, unless there's a lot of evidence that we have not, you know, been shown, which, you know, based on the verdict, seems not to be the case. And we're just going off of the 10 things that New Jeans mentioned in their courts, which unfortunately, the court, you can go read the verdict on your own. It's very public. I think it's like, you know, you'll find translations everywhere.
Essentially, the things New Jeans brought up, such as obviously the Minijin stuff, the protecting their individual artistic vision of the group, the Hani alleged bullying stuff, they were not enough to get to breach of trust legally. That's essentially what the court ruled. All that stuff was not.
The 10 arguments that New Jeans brought up, all of them got shot down, and I think that says something. I do think, on a personal level, I think it's wildly unfortunate, because like the artistic stuff that like their producer in New Jeans was bringing to the table, I say again and again and again, was some of the best shit I've seen on this podcast.
Yeah.
So it's I agree, it's unfortunate. I do think it's, if I'm New Jeans, I'm fucking stressed out. I'm like, dude, damn, like, I don't want to do this shit.
Let me add to the stress. I'm gonna go through some other article. The court ruled that New Jeans members must bear the cost of the lawsuit against the door. Number one.
God damn.
New Jeans side released the statement. Obviously, they said, "quote The members respect the court's judgment, but maintain the position that it's impossible to return to a door and continue normal entertainment activities in the current situation where the relationship of trust with the door has been completely broken. According to the members' plan, accordingly, the members plan to immediately appeal. So they're appealing the first instance ruling and hope that an appellate court will comprehensively review the facts and legal principles regarding the termination of the exclusive contract once and deliver a wise judgment." So they're appealing the decision. All that's released, and then they thank the fans, of course. Yeah. So that's their statement. Their contract runs through July 31st, 2029, but people are wondering if does this date extend because of an ongoing lawsuit because they're not working? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's. I don't think that's how it works.
I don't think that's how that works either. But at a minimum, it's until July 31st, 2029, which is 7 years after their debut, I believe.
Okay,
that's there. And then Adore released the statement, of course, and they're like, "Yep, they made the right decision."
Well, they also mentioned that they have a complete album ready to go, fully produced. I'm like, that's not how the fuck do you do that without the cooperation of the members who would be singing? Like that's
record this beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have like drafts ready with like AI Hani on there. Like what's going on?
It's unfortunate because right here it says as stated during the trial, we have completed preparations for future activities, including the release of a full-length album, and are ready to proceed. Throughout discussions with the artist, we will do our utmost to return to the fans as soon as possible.
Look, think of it on the bright side. It means we're gonna get a comeback in 4 years. Now,
hopefully.
Now we know the countdown date. Like,
all right. So that's the first thing. Nothing really changed from what we thought would end up, but there's another lawsuit thing going on now, guys.
Oh boy.
And so the CBX thing. Look at the title:
right.
6 losses in 6 battles against SM Entertainment. The high court judged as an evasionary tactic to psychologically pressure SM is one of the statements made by the court. Okay, so what is going on here? As of late October, there are reports coming off that most of the legal stuff has happened and ruled in favor of SM Entertainment in the multiple cases followed by XO-CBX. For example, quote, court dismisses claims of unfair contracts and settlement data disputes, upholding SM's position in all legal challenges. Another article stated that the trio have lost all 6 legal and administrative cases they brought against SM Entertainment. So basically, what this is that CBX, these guys, they were able to join another company to do their CBX stuff. But SM allowed them to do that, but they have to pay 10% of these individual activities to SM. That was the contract that was stated, right? That was the agreement they came to. SM basically stated, hey, they're not paying us the 10%, right? And then CBX is basically stating this contract is unfair that we're in.
Okay. So
yeah.
We shook hands, made a promise, but now CBX is like, actually, unfair agreement, don't like it, lawsuit. Am I getting that right?
So the CBX guys stated that SM had failed to honor an earlier promise of a 5.5 distribution fee for the independent label's music distribution deal. And they argued because SM didn't pay this distribution fee, we shouldn't have to pay them 10%. That was the argument.
Okay, so it's like if a state government went, ooh, we're not getting any federal benefits from like giving you guys all our state taxes. We're gonna stop giving you state taxes.
Yeah. And it seems like that 5.5 distribution fee was more like a open worded promise and not a legally binding promise, whereas this 10% thing is on paper legally. You know what I mean? That's what it seems more like. But it's kind of framed in the courts that it looks like the way it's framed is that CBX was just trying to get out of paying the 10% to SM. That's how it's being legally framed right now.
I can't imagine that they would do that on purpose, since they knew they signed it. Like they knew it was on the contract.
So that this happened, right? The court ruled one way. SM stated, quote, since CBX continues to deny the validity of their exclusive contract and the June 18th agreement, it is now impossible for EXO to continue activities together with them. So they are not going to be in that EXO comeback thing that's happening. Then that triggered the CBX guys to get into like damage control mode. So they released a statement, SM released a statement, they released another statement, because what they're afraid of is pissing off the fans, it seems. You know what I mean? So the best way for me to summarize the statements is I will summarize their last argument, where they literally just posted each one of SM's things and then they stated their opinion on SM's statement. That's what they like tried to pick apart their argument. So in a summary version, the first one, on that 10% revenue payment, which seems to be the crux of all this, CBX stated that they intend to pay SM the full 10% of the revenue for individual activities as required by their June 2023 agreement. They are waiting until the ongoing litigation concludes and a final agreement is reached before making the payment, and they are not refusing to pay. They're saying that they're not refusing to pay, but they're saying we ain't gonna pay until we're done with court though. You know, so that's the first thing. Number two, on group activities and trust issues, their representatives of CBX have stated that all negotiations were conducted with a goal of a full group EXO activities. CBX has been communicating directly with other EXO members and actively trying to rejoin group activities, and they reject SM's claim that the trust was destroyed because of CBX's actions, asserting that they have been acting in good faith. So they're trying everything to show that we want to be in this EXO comeback. And they're trying to state that SM is the one keeping them from doing it. And then in terms of the mediation that happened on October 2nd and their objection, they expressed a willingness to accept SM's conditions and pay the 10%. However, a mediator proposed an unrelated amount on October 2nd that neither side agreed to. CBX and SM formally objected on October 16th, a normal legal procedure, not a sign that CBX is refusing to settle. So they're just bringing up all these murky legal things that are like, this is why we can't pay the 10%, you know? We don't agree with this amount. And another part of this thing is that they argue they're arguing about what the 10% involves. And in the closing mention, they apologize for the fans, and they are committed to honor the existing agreement, rebuild trust with the EXO members, and reach an amicable solution with SM so they could rejoin the comeback.
Okay. Look, clearly we're getting a lot of the timeline in one go, so things are a little murky. What I've gathered from this situation is a lot of this is based off of we're not going to pay the 10% because they did not pay us the 5.5%.
Yeah.
And that's however already been shot down by the prosecution department. For not having enough evidence. So, you know, that's clearly not something that's built into a contract. Let's say it was. Let's say, you know, there was an agreement at some point. Couldn't they have like sent an email to like your old mates at SM and being like, hey, like, remember that 5.5% we talked about? Like, is that, what's up, man? Like, I haven't, bank account is sitting here like with no input. Like, what's going on? I don't know. Like, that feels like something that could have been sorted out without having to resort to, I'm not going to pay you the agreed upon 10% that is explicitly written in my contract. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I feel like that's what they went to court, right? Because they couldn't settle it.
SM stated that the 5.5 distribution thing was never actually a contractual clause, only a business proposal offered through Kakao Entertainment, their distributor, and not through them specifically. So, and the court sided with SM saying, yeah, it wasn't legally binding, whatever this 5.5% distribution.
Okay, I mean,
it's rough, dude.
It's a little difficult to, yeah.
I feel sympathy because I want a full EXO, and I'm sure SM's not being the most amicable person in this, but the courts did rule 5.5 not legally binding, 10% is legally binding. You know, like
they just have to come to an agreement to that amount, right? Because that's what's holding them back.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, okay, so completely out of left field rumor, because this is 100% a rumor. It's probably not true. There's rumors that this whole situation with CBX and the other EXO members who are still at SM Happy doing the EXO stuff, right? There's rumor that it has kind of deteriorated the relationship between the two groups. Yikes. Right? Yeah. That's a rumor, though. It might be completely unfounded. It might just be CBX versus SM, but there are outstanding rumors online right now that it's kind of, made everything awkward between all of the EXO members, both CBX and the other guys.
This is probably one of the worst case scenarios for a lot of the artists who, kind of semi split up after, their first 7-year contract period. A lot of groups, they promise they're going to get back together. Certain people hold certain rights. Certain people go their own ways, different companies. With EXO, it's been a slightly awkward situation because like a lot of these members are still at SM proper under, both as a soloist and as a, group. You had folks who split off. In this case, technically speaking, they joined MC Mong's thing. IMB 100 isn't completely independent. It sits under 100 label, which is, that's the whole Black Planet Made, Million Market, that line of companies. So from a fan perspective, it's a lot of what the fuck, especially after the announcement of like we're all gonna have a group come back.
It's kind of effed. If you're an EXO fan, you gotta. I think the fans are really getting effed out of this at the end, right? Really.
I mean, as someone who watched their debut, like original lineup, full 12, and we've lost a couple since then. That are not coming back.
Anita, we've lost the whole third.
No, but I mean that are definitely not coming back. It's done.
Hey, we've lost some guys to China. One of them, good riddance, because sex offender there. We lost one guy who became like a top 10 earning actor in the world, Wuhan.
And we also lost coming back.
We lost Tao, who got married. Shout out to his marriage, Shout out to Tao, And then we got Lei came back, and now we're having this legal thing. It's a mess.
I just hope they're able to settle amicably so that they can continue.
I mean, it feels like they gotta say goodbye to this 5.5%, pay this 10%, and then hope everything is cleared the waters after that. Does it not? Right?
The issue is this might work on paper. The issue is then, you have the ripple effects of like how it impacts the fandom. And like, I'm looking at how these community boards are doing with the EXO fans. It ain't good. There's a lot of finger pointing going around now.
Yeah. There's like a war online, dude. It's not, people are not happy. But that's the end of that. Let's get to more happy stuff. I have more SM news. Kangta will be the general producer of SM's music label, SM Art. The first artist of the label will be Im Siwon, the actor, who releases first solo album in December. So on face value, interesting. Kangta's pretty high up in SM Entertainment. We know Kangta and Bo are high up in the corporate side, but he's going to be the general producer for this music label, SM Art, with Im Siwon as the first artist. But then, oddly, Im Siwon signed an exclusive contract with the Black label the same week.
What?
So it seems like exclusively his upcoming music stuff will be at SM, but his acting and other things will be at the Black label.
Oh, damn. It sounds like Black label got the better pie of the two.
Yeah, because he's more famous for the acting these days,
Yeah.
You remember this Gen 1 Zaya guy over here, right? Can you believe this guy was in the same group as Kwagi? It's crazy. It's crazy to think about.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. So if you're an Imsiwon fan, good news though. He's now at Black Label for everything else, and he's gonna have a music career at SM. That sounds good if I'm a fan of his. You know. That sounds pretty solid. So that's Imsiwon news. Let's keep going. Next thing, we have Wake One has appointed former SM co-CEO Nam So-young as its new CEO. Under her leadership, the company Wake One has gotten big enough where they're splitting into two divisions. We have Center One, which is for Zero Base One and ISNA, and then we have Center 2, which is fully focusing on the debut of Alpha Drive 1 and a specialized support for the solo artist also under the label.
Okay.
Kind of makes sense. They're getting big, Wake One, over time, right? With all of these like competition groups that are like ISNA's permanent. Alpha Drive 1's going to be here for like 7 years or something. Solo artists are there for a long time, including like Choerry. She's still there.
It's they also have a very large catalog of trainees who are show up in different
competition shows and things like that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Hey, makes sense. Next thing we got. And Team debut album Back to Life sells over 1 million copies in day one. This is the group from that list.
Wow.
And here I got this past week Kanto album chart. It sold 1,190,866 copies for their Korean debut.
Wow.
And then second place, La Seraphim Spaghetti, 670,000. This and Team, that's a crazy number, dude.
Damn.
I have to say, I'm not too surprised because I know they've been quite big in Japan already, but it's translating in Korea as well.
Yeah, shout out to them. I'm kind of surprised how well External Heroes is a band, so that actually does make sense, right? Bands don't sell too big. But let's keep going. Hey, our boy Taecyeon announcing he is marrying his non-celebrity girlfriend in spring.
Aww. Congratulations.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Congratulations.
Hey, let's get it.
Wow.
Hey, he's at an age now that if you're being delulu about this, you need to have some help. This man is 36 years old. He could get married. Relax, relax yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? This man is 36. If he wants to get married, let him. Okay, let's keep going. Shout out to Taecyeon.
Congrats to the man.
All Day Project has finally announced stuff, guys. This is very anticipated. They're going to have a digital single called One More Time, November 17th, and they're following it up with an EP in December. So we're going boom boom with All Day Project.
December, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Timing.
Weird timing. November, December. People don't typically release too much because it's award season, but they're going to be doing it.
Maybe they identify it as a bit of an empty house. Then they could just charge in.
They could just dominate Christmas season, right?
Maybe
holiday
it
season.
has happened before.
Next thing. So Only One Of has parted ways with their agency after 6 years. They are staying together. I think they are looking for representation, but they are the entire group has left. Next thing, TOZ, another smaller group, has disbanded, sadly. And then next, we got a bunch of military guys. You ready, Anita? NCT Jungwoo, military. He going. NCT Doyoung, he going the same day.
Yeah.
And then GOT7 Youngjae, he's going too. Those two guys are all going.
Okay, a lot of going.
People say that the sad thing is about this Youngjae announcement because like most of the other GOT7 dudes are doing Gundae, have already done it or don't have to go, and now they gotta wait another 18 months for this guy to come back because he's much younger than everyone else.
It's bound to happen. Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Though. Yeah.
But he's going as well. And then finally, Mama Awards, they announced the host. Bogum is the host of Mama 2025 Chapter 1.
Okay.
Shout out to our boy Bogum. Look at that face. Good face, guys. Good face. The music, that's all the news we got. The music next week, which will be covered, we're going to have a mega episode in 2 weeks, clearly, because next week is kind of packed. 50/50, I Hope, Sunmi, X Love, JYP himself, Reseen, New Beat, and NTX, TXT's Yeonjun, Just Be, ITZY, On and Off, Plave, Gravity.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
That is all the music for the next week. There's going to be another grouping for the following week. And we're going to probably have to do a 5 or 6 song mega episode.
Oh, man.
That's okay.
It is what it is.
I do have some good news for All Day Project.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at their teaser image. A certain member has natural hair. Is what I'm seeing.
A certain guy. Okay.
A certain man.
Yeah.
Photo shoot. Pa, pa, pa. Okay. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back with our activity and our hot takes. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. Warren had us anonymously find hot takes or simmer up some get in the kitchen.
Okay.
Chop up some chives like that guy on that viral Reddit post who he tries to perfectly chop chives every day. But he had us do that with these hot takes. There's a guy on Reddit who's just farming karma by trying to see if he could perfectly chop a bunch of chives every day, and then people review him. It's a thing
wow.
right now.
You'll have to send me a link later. I am now curious.
Yeah.
Here, look. We did the hot take thing a couple weeks ago. The thing was, I was like, episode 350. You know, like it's obviously a big moment for us, but. Are we being honest with ourselves? Like back when you started episode 300, I was like, we're gonna be a lot more blunt. We're gonna be a lot more honest with these ratings and scores. That's how it's gonna be. Get the real me. 0% opacity, 100% transparency. That's what you're gonna get. And then if I look back, I'm like, I don't know.
I need to give more below 5s. That's what I've realized.
Yeah, no, I think a part of it is the way the rating system is structured, but I have been trying to play it a little less safe.
Yeah.
Same.
And you've been reminding us to try to give less 6s.
Yes. It's been a lesson for me. It's been a lesson for everyone. But hey, on that note, I was like, you know what? There are things we don't say on the show about the K-pop industry that I was like, you know what? It's anonymous. Fucking bring it. I'll take down the aggressive the hate comments. Fairly critical. We'll keep up. Don't worry. But like, if anyone calls I don't know, Doug a pea-sized man or something, that's weird insult.
How did you know? Huh? All right, let's keep going.
All right, whatever. We got some hot takes. Let's start with the first one. First one reads, groups and companies need more specific media and image management. What?
Here's the thing. My opinion on this type of situation is that they already have image media management. They just don't give an F what some of us in the West think. I think structurally built in, they don't care.
Here's the thing though. I think, and I'm thinking of a couple of instances that have happened kind of recently, right?
Okay.
Kiss of Life type of stuff,
Tarzan's hair
project kind of stuff. Yeah. Where I feel like if they knew that it could happen, but they allow it, like you never know how bad the response can be, that it completely derails. Like in the case of Kiss of Life, more specifically, it can derail like a lot of the good stuff that was happening for the group, the momentum they had. So I feel like in that sense, it's like, yeah, you can allow it if you want, but like you're gonna have to deal with the consequences, and it's not pretty.
It sounds like someone had a lot of arguments ready to go for this hot take, as if someone submitted this hot take themselves.
We don't know. We don't know who submitted these, guys.
Yes.
It could be any three of us.
Should I give my true? Keep going.
No. Yeah, go. Drop your.
Do you want my true opinion?
Well, that's what this is about. Drop
this
your
true
take.
Here's my true opinion.
Do you want me to censor you out or something?
This take only matters if your group isn't big enough to handle negative feedback. These big groups that are too big to fail, they can afford not to give an F. It's when a smaller group, like a Kiss of Life, has a big oof like this, that they need to care. I did check this. But when the group is massive and there's enough fans, it doesn't really matter, is my honest opinion.
You know what? No, I'm going to argue the other way, though. Because, like, if your group is small enough where, like, your streamer viewership is, like, 50, like, shit's going to fly under the radar. Nobody's going to give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, if, for example, Kiss of Life, that, problematic live stream, if there was, like, 20 viewers, that's not going to blow up at all. You know what I mean? Like,
think it would eventually, though.
Eventually, yes, but like,
Okay,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like there's so much shit that flies under the radar where we just don't know about it because the group isn't like particularly the biggest.
I get what Doug is saying, though, because I think of like around the same time or maybe within this year, there was stuff that came up from like previous instances of like artists like I think Blackpink's Jennie was one of them.
Blackpink Edward usage leaker guy. You remember that?
Yeah, like somebody just mentioned or compiled like instances of that happening like years ago, like way back when, and I feel
It
like
had no effect. It had no effect.
People
That's
were
fair.
upset, but it didn't last very
You know what?
long, and it didn't really cause much of a reaction from the company or the members. So
Let me adjust my opinion based on what Warren said because I agree with him. There's a bell curve. If you're too small, doesn't matter. If you're too big, doesn't matter. If you're in the middle, if you're in the middle where you're like building a fandom and cultivating, it actually does affect you then, right? Now,
when you're on the come up,
on a moral level, of course, we think that groups should manage what they say, try to be politically
100%.
correct, try not to piss off people, do racist things, bad things, sexist things. But the reality is, some of these groups are so big that like it literally doesn't affect them. Like, is there going to be backlash online? Sure. Are people going to mention in the comment section for all the time going forward that, oh my God, this group is a sympathizer of this or that or whatever? Yeah. But at the end of the day, well, if that group is still selling 5 million albums, did it really have that much of an effect on them? You know?
Do you want my
not.
okay? This might be the hottest take about this specific topic.
yep.
I'm gonna try to make my words
Oh my
very
God.
careful.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
how bad is it?
Okay. Okay. I think people can make mistakes.
Of course.
I think
Right.
nobody's perfect, and I don't expect
Of course.
artists to be perfect either. And
Yeah.
because of that, I'm willing to overlook a lot of these mistakes. I am willing to say, hey, you know what? You fucked up. I fucked up too. I'll give you another chance when shit happens. But like sometimes that makes their music that much more interesting. And I think that's fucking interesting.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Oh.
the
Okay.
music becomes more interesting after this a scandal like that. You think?
Sometimes that happens, and that is a very good interpretation. That is a very good scenario playing out. Now, I'm not saying it necessarily needs to like hinge off directly off of a controversy. I'm saying like it makes that character an artist more unique and imperfect and interesting and engaging. I'm going to pull out a very extreme example here, and somebody that was canceled on Twitter and yada 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 the past 2 weeks, which is our artist you and I very much love, Anita. This is Tyler, the Creator.
Oh wait, I think I missed this. Go ahead. I might have missed this.
Okay. Tyler, the Creator, has been winning Grammys. His music ever since Flower Boy, Igor, Call Me If You Get Lost, Chromacopia, Don't Tap the Glass. Award-winning albums, critically acclaimed, great bangers after bangers. His earlier stuff,
Oh, okay. Yes.
a little more controversial. He got
Very.
right.
Yeah.
He became famous for being a very edgy dude. He was making very edgy jokes, things that don't belong in 2025. Now,
Could be offensive. Yeah.
very offensive. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna be very honest. Very offensive. I got into Wolf because I felt like he was coming around on some of this stuff. That's when I got into Tyler, and I saw him mature as a person. Back like when I got to Flower Boy, I was like, oh my God, he's matured so much. I've seen a different side of this guy. So like, given all that, I think a musician can make mistakes, fuck up a whole bunch, and mature at the ripe age of mid-30s. Like you know what I mean? Like people progress. That's what makes people really interesting.
For me, at the end of the day, all this type of stuff, I think it really comes down to intent. Like people could mess up, but the intentions weren't like horrendous.
Right.
Like before they were pointed out for how ridiculous it was. Do you think Kiss of Life knew that this was going to be bad and still did it? I highly doubt that, considering their response.
Yeah.
Should they have known better? Of
Yeah.
course. But did they intentionally do this live stream to piss people off? Hell no, they didn't.
No.
So I think a lot of this for me just comes down to intent. Now, should some groups that are trying to cultivate an audience have some kind of media training? Going back to the original take, yeah, they probably should to keep your kids in line. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think it really comes down to what is morally right and what a company should do is not a reflection of how companies actually act.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong. Whenever something like this happens, I'm always one of the first people to say, if this shit makes you uncomfortable, like that's very understandable. And like, if you never want to listen to this artist again, that's also understandable, because that happens to me with certain artists, like Pesagong, who's a rapper who, you know, he there was some sexual harassment controversies, and I was like, this, you know what? This is kind of fucked up. This does not line up with his previous music, the identity he built. Disgusting. Please, no more. And I moved on. So different people have different standards, and like, it's not like I'm going around saying like, you should listen to a murderer's music, or like, oh, you should listen to, you know what I mean? Like, don't do that.
No,
but like,
I mean, but no, I get what you're trying to say. I think there's people have different opinions as to what is the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We can't spend all day on each one of those.
Next take. Anita, do you want to read this?
Yes, this take says, so much of the community around K-pop is so toxic, it's difficult to discover and maintain healthy discourse around it.
100% agree. I 100% agree, but I think it works in both ways.
Both ways?
I think there are so much of K-pop is gatekeeping, and there are so many people on certain online spaces that just hate certain groups and people, and they express this hate all the time. It just ruins the vibes. But on the other hand, I think there are so many people who are so enamored by certain groups and artists that it's just like a circle jerk in the comment section that no one can state a neutral to negative or a constructive or a criticism of a group without getting brigaded or getting badgered or people being angry at them. And I think it's ridiculous that people can't, like, at the end of the day, liking something or not liking something is a matter of preference, and you should be allowed to have a preference.
There was a damning moment early on in my career as a podcaster where I was active in a Korean community for Rocket Punch. What a throwback. Back when Rocket Punch was around, their second release as an artist was Bouncy. If you go listen to our episode about Bouncy, I absolutely shat on it. I was like, this is a horrible track. ABCD, here are my reasons. Bouncy bounce. I did not like it. I went to the fan community with the moment it dropped, like before we did the podcast and all.
Yeah.
And I tried to be as polite as possible. I was like, you know what? It's not my cup of tea. I hope I'm proven wrong. I like this track better on their EP. That's all I said. And I got banned.
Pretty polite, yeah.
You got banned from r/Rocket Punch?
This is the Korean community. Transparency. This is the Korean community.
Okay.
Where things, obviously, the atmosphere is a little different, but they were like, bad vibes, bad juju, out of here.
That's crazy.
That seems a bit extreme to me.
But Anita, you say that's an extreme. That's the norm in most of these communities.
It's a lot of. Here's the thing. There's a very long history of, in order for my group to succeed, we need to shoot down our competitors, make it easy for our group to succeed. There's a constant war of people like coming in from different communities to like troll and being like, like act like you are a Rocket Punch fan when in reality you're a competitor. Say you're a Cherry Bullet fan and you want to sabotage their community. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many layers to this where, first of all, it creates a huge entry barrier. And second of all, it makes things so not interesting. Where like, unless you're an r/K-pop listening to a song that's like obviously so terrible, you're gonna get downvoted to hell for saying like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe this is not good.
I think this also comes with the fact like there are groups that have been around for like, let's say like 7 to 10 years, so they've released like hundreds of songs, right?
Right.
And then people ask them, like, name one song that you didn't like from these people, and they're like, no, every single song was amazing.
That's
and I'm
not
like,
possible.
you know what I mean? Like, it's like situations like that I'm just like, come on. Like,
I guess
come
in
on.
that sense, my interpretation of this take is, well, not that of community, right? Of just K-pop community. I felt of like the larger discourse of like music, but fandoms and like cons, like I guess the bigger picture of it. But to me, if I get very specific to it, the stuff that gets like iffy and toxic is the fandom, like the fan culture, the fan.
The parasocialness is
activity,
also wild.
Yeah.
We're a bit outside of that because we live so far away from Korea. But like
Right.
the sasen culture,
It's terrible.
the people ruining it for everyone else, like the people trying to break into these people's houses, like flying to Korea to stalk these people. It's insanity.
Horrifying.
It's horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a very famous meme in Korea that's called the reality of being a fan of a failed idol. Have you guys read this before? Is this
No.
No.
okay? It was a real post that became a copy pasta, and if I could translate it on a person, translate on the spot, it's like the manager knows my name. I know the manager. I know the manager's like face. I know the manager is like, you know, like having a hard time, so I give the manager food as well. The members ask me why I'm not at their events.
Oh my god.
We hang out
They recognize
afterwards
them.
with the managers while we're waiting for a different schedule. Like, I go to a fan sign event and they know my professor's name. And you know, it's
Yeah.
this is obviously a bit of a meme because, like, you know, like clearly,
Maybe to that extent. Yeah.
like this person isn't super toxic about it. They're very self-aware in this situation where they're like, I could go to their fan sign with one album, but I'm paying 10. Some of these parasocial relationships are, I don't know, it's not something I'm super excited about, and I see companies really encourage it.
100%. That's
Yeah.
how they sustain
It is
a lot of the groups.
and it's something I still have trouble talking about in on this show,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why I stay so focused on, like, hyper focused on like the musical aspect of things. But I don't know. I think that's about all we have to say about this topic. Anyone else got anything?
Go.
Go. Okay,
Excellent.
Doug, read take 3.
SM 3.0 doesn't seem like an improvement or that's significantly different in a good way.
Okay, let's think about some key differences. We don't have a universe anymore. SMCU.
Oh, the Kwangya's gone.
Yeah.
So when we say 3.0, we're essentially saying NCT Dream and Hearts to Hearts, right? Essentially.
NCT Wish.
Or NCT Wish, yeah. NCT Wish and
Yeah.
Hearts to Hearts.
Oh.
I mean, I kind of like
Is
Hearts to
Rise
Hearts.
also in there?
And who else?
Is Rise technically in
Yeah,
there
Rise is
too?
in there too.
Okay.
Well,
Okay. Per their press release, SM 3.0 is meant to be a strategic initiative which uncovers the entire company, not just their new stuff. I'm sure the newer stuff is
Okay.
a lot more influenced by 3.0, but I think aespa is one of the key example where their music shifted and their we are no longer talking about Novice, Kwangya, Black Mamba anymore in their music.
Right.
Yeah. Musically speaking, I've also noticed a lot of lyrics making a whole lot of sense, which was not the case with SM. like let's be honest.
Well,
like,
that's a good thing.
yeah, like some of their SM music has, some of the SMP releases have been very much like saying a lot of fancy words that don't seem to make a whole lot of sense, but they say it anyways. And then
you know what? SM 3.0 has been kind of a failure up until now. Let's be honest here. It started with that whole thing of Isuman having this breakdown with his nephew trying to usurp power from him.
Right,
And then
yeah.
the nephew gets fired later in this cycle, which is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And then we debuted these groups, which is fine. The groups are doing fine, but SM groups have historically always been fine, right? But then other
Hard to
things
fail,
they
yeah.
promised, like the NCT cool subunits, didn't happen, right? Other than Wish, but like we were gonna have an Africa one. You remember at one point we were gonna have a South American one. They also announced the Kwangya 119, where people can report slander and other weird people to the company, and that never happened, right? And then they promised more content from the artists, which they haven't done, right? And then the handling of the whole Seunghan Rise shit as well, right? So, like SM 3.0, you could say SM 3.0 is working because the music's been pretty good out of Rise, NCT Wish, and Hearts to Hearts. But the other shit, the actual structural entity in the company, I don't think's been working too well. And you know how many older heads are getting pissed? Remember, Taeyeon came out pissed off at the company at one point, right? Like,
I thought
it just doesn't feel stable.
Yeah, where I feel like the newer stuff, right? The 3.0 proper, like stuff that maybe was released as under 3.0 has been doing pretty good, I would say. But I feel like every other week, or maybe not that often, but I feel like more often now I hear of their older groups. Like I'm talking like Red Velvet, I'm talking about like Shiny, EXO more recently.
Being disgruntled or something.
Yeah, like there's a lot of like not quite having the same, like being in agreement, like people are leaving to do like solo activities outside of SM, and now there's a dispute like with the EXO members. So I feel like something feels a little off there too, which I don't know if it's
bound to happen. This hot take says in a good way. I'm indifferent, if anything. It's been an indifferent change, I think.
Indifferent, yeah. I guess, yeah.
As someone who works 9 to 5 in consulting at the moment, it reads a lot of. It reads like it's a corporate effort to raise their stock prices, and you know what? If you look at the stock price history, that's very evident, because if you go to January, we're sitting at like 70,000 ish won. By the time you hit March 10, which is a couple weeks after their SM 3.0 stuff, we peaked at 130,000. So we about a little less than doubled, you know? And then for a while it goes up and down. We go down a little bit, and then, you know, last year's been really good. In the last like 365 days, we've seen a rise of 61%.
1%. Yep.
Which is very solid. It's a little, if anything, it's a little too good, and maybe it's a little concerning about how fast.
Feels like a bubble. Feels like a bubble.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, I don't know. It feels like a call to action to the stock owners, to get them hyped about buy more.
Yeah, I think a lot of the 3.0 was shit that we would never actually see on a consumer side. It's just unfortunate because it got everyone hyped up and it was a big buzzword.
Yeah.
But on a musical and a content level, I don't think it's materialized.
I do think, based on this conversation, the thing that's been most noticeable in this 3.0 situation is less actually about 3.0 and the result of their leadership changing, which has been all these like disgruntled artists, you know, complaining about, you know, things not being smooth behind the scenes, which we're not gonna. It feels like something's brewing, and I don't know if it's gonna blow up or if it's just gonna brew and then just, you know, slowly fade away because they improve. But we'll have to see how that turns out.
Oh, let's go.
All right, it's my turn to read fourth hot take. The mid-tier apocalypse of groups was an overall net positive. Yikes. What the fuck?
That's a take. Wow.
Someone's cruel today.
People not doing well is actually okay.
Okay, on a micro level, if your group got disbanded in the mid-tier apocalypse like a rocket punch, it's sad, right? Like, it's rough out
fuck
here.
you, whoever wrote this.
But it kind of, but in the ashes of the mid-tier apocalypse have risen probably the strongest rookie classes ever in K-pop in the last 2 years.
Elaborate. What do you mean? How
all
is
the
this
big companies have made rookie groups that have kind of filled the void with the existing groups. Like, basically, the mid-tier apocalypse is a symptom of post-COVID K-pop, clearly, right? The money getting tight, people not buying albums, things like that,
Yes.
the economy, whatever. in the ashes of that, all of these big companies, I think, saw market share appearing, and they've all fastly or quickly debuted new groups to fill the void. So now most of these big companies are managing multiple boy groups and girl groups at the same time to kind of fill the void, which means that the mid-tier no longer exists, but the new groups from the big companies have filled the spot. And I guess that this take is saying it's a good thing because they like the stuff coming out of the big companies. Right? Am I wrong?
I mean, yeah, I can see that way too. I feel like
Warren doesn't see it like that.
I'm trying to make up my mind if it's a net positive.
I mean, I think I'll say this. I feel like maybe seeing it as a positive way to me was that there are a lot of groups in just K-pop in general. Like I feel like there's a lot of lower mid-tier groups that kind of start and then don't quite have the financial means to keep it going for too long, and it's always really unfortunate when it fizzles out, people leave, and then they don't even have a comeback. Like they just debut and then it's done. Like it's a one-time thing, and to me that feels like very unfortunate because I feel like we get hopes up, we get people invested in this, and then it doesn't really go anywhere. So in that sense, I could see why maybe it kind of set smaller numbers in that case.
Here's the problem with this mid-tier apocalypse. We've kind of sterilized the K-pop landscape because back in the day there were cute, weird, funky companies with their weird, fun groups, and you get these weird ass concepts, and that's how like an 80s happens, right? This upstart company with these aggressive kids, and they Hakuna Matata their way into success, right? And then you're like, wow, and then they become a big company off of that, right? So there's not as many of those stories. But on the other hand, the more positive side is like I wouldn't say it's even a positive side. It's a fact that even these what we consider now like what would be considered like a mid-tier group, like a Hope, right? Like a group like that, it's tied to a giant competition show, right? So even these smaller groups are now tied to giant entities. I think we've completely done away with these small independent like setups that are being successful, which is
that can be kind of sad too. Yeah.
I think there's two sides of this. First of all, what you mentioned is what I've been complaining about through the entire 350 episode run, which is the late stage capitalismification of K-pop. Where
That's what this is.
Right. You have so much funds focused on a certain amount of small, very rich companies, which for certain industries, that's how it should be. For K-pop, where I appreciate the creativity and the out-of-box thinking that comes with a lot of the, smaller companies. It's not very a welcoming situation. It's always cool to see people do things outside of the box. Like QWER.
Like QWER. Oh,
right. Yeah, there you go. And when that was happening, I said I voted for them as my rookie of the year at some point, maybe 2 years ago, because it felt like they were doing things out of the box. They were coming from a very non-traditional source of funds. Music style was very different, clear concept, yada yada yada. And that's what got me really excited. Now, with a lot of these companies, the problem with just having a few companies control so much of the industry, it's like a bit of a situation where everybody knows kind of what's safe and they all kind of dictate the trend. They just go along with it. Now, that's not exciting. But what I will also recognize is that a lot of the mid-tier groups that were a part of this apocalypse that went away, Rocket Punch included, did a terrible job of creating a identity for themselves and were not very out of the box and just blanketly followed the trends in terms of just chasing whatever's popular at the moment, whether that be synth pop or like fucking like Moombathon derivatives. Like it was.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Also about this mid-tier. One of the reasons for this mid-tier apocalypse were a lot of these companies that were successful in older generations that couldn't keep up with the times as well.
That's
like
true.
previously successful companies like debuting these groups and not being able to recapture the magic that they had previously in like Gen 2.
Well, you're talking about Woollim Entertainment right there.
I'm talking about more than Woollim though. There's a lot of these companies.
I mean, Cube Entertainment got lucky because I would group them under that, except they really hit it out of the ballpark with I-dle and Soyeon being a very...
You could say it like a Cherry Bullet FNC situation. Something like that. But all these companies that were once, like, I wouldn't say titans because they weren't the big three, but they were there. They were in the top 10, 15, and then now that they're like essentially their Gen 4, 3-4 groups have failed, right?
Yeah.
And some of them have just decided not to debut more groups and other ones are trying it again,
I don't...
The one that survived did it because they managed to. They had content creativity to stick it out.
Right. And there's only so many of those is what I think. I don't know.
It's sad. It's sad as a whole because we lost the quirkiness the expense was losing the quirkiness and the funness of Positive, but the positive was the floor of all these groups now is really high because they have the money to have high production levels typically.
While I agree, I would not use the word net positive.
I wouldn't either. I say the landscape has changed.
Yeah.
Right?
It's shifted. Yeah. Let's move on.
All right, let's go.
Anita reads this take, please.
This take says TikTok/shorts have ruined K-pop musically.
I could see the point in this.
I feel like we've mentioned this a bit.
Yeah, I think it was really bad at one point, and I think we've gotten better. You remember, like, when we noticed Somi doesn't move more than 5 feet horizontally in her songs.
I do remember that.
We were like, what the F is this? But now I think they've understood, like, okay, number one, the short song situation, it might be a symptom of this, which is ass in itself. That's a whole different conversation. But I think we're doing a better job of maybe we'll have the TikTok section, but we still have the more normal section these days. We're not just making straight up TikTok songs.
Yeah.
It feels incorporated rather than...
Yeah, at one point it was terrible. Like, holy shit.
Yep.
It was literally making a song just so we could make some TikToks.
I mean, it feels like there's a whole genre of like cringy TikTok music out there outside of K-pop.
Yes.
And I feel like we haven't degenerated that far is what I'll say.
I think we were on the path for it to ruin K-pop musically forever, but I think we've like kind of settled. I think we've settled at the expense of having really short run times of these songs. But yeah,
some of these songs are so short.
They're terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think nowadays, it's shifted from, like you said, it being like we're catering for the platform and more like we're trying to use the platform to benefit us. And like, yeah, it is more of a side effect now that if you go viral on TikTok, it's not necessarily that you curated your song or your music for TikTok specifically. So in that sense, that's good. And I also, to be honest, I feel like nowadays for me, those platforms are the places where I hear a lot of new music that I probably wouldn't have heard just on my own algorithm somewhere else. So I feel like it's pros and cons, I think.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to overlook the benefits of this being a great discovery engine for me, because like I also agree. Like I've discovered so many cool stuff on like shorts, reels, TikTok, you name it. But like I don't know. I guess
it's sad. It's sad, honestly. Sometimes
I still see. You know what? No, I still hear a lot of songs that do a good job of maintaining a pace in like 2 minutes 50 seconds or like 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and like now a song having terrible pacing because it's so short is another list of things that songs might fuck up because of whatever reason. Not all songs are terrible. I don't know. I think ruin's a bit of an overstatement, but I see the sentiment here.
I see the point as well. Before we move on to the last take, I forgot to mention this during the SM 3.0 discussion. The biggest casualty of SM 3.0 was the aespa AI lore and those movies we were getting at a certain point. Those were really interesting and compelling, and 3.0 seems to have thrown them all out the window.
We're never going back. Except for
right,
Novice. Novice did stay.
Novice is doing her AI solo
we
career.
didn't need that.
Let's
Maybe
keep
not,
going.
yeah.
You remember they had like the SM hotel thing? It was creepy at one point. Yeah.
Doug, this is your turn to read the take.
Sometimes I worry that releases are produced and released too quickly. I wouldn't mind lesser high quality releases, which is how it functions in theory.
This reads less like a hot take and more like a journal entry. It's like sometimes I worry.
You know, this is an interesting take because previously I've been the person that says we need more content, we need more songs, right? But at what cost? You know, this doesn't kind of. But at the same time, I'm the person these days who've been saying there's too many pre-releases, right? So,
Okay, yes. I feel like maybe the type of content we're getting maybe is not what we think should be getting as often. Because I feel like, yes, I think there's more pre-releases. I also feel like sometimes they do like very short promotion times.
Yeah,
which I understand why, because I think it's taxing, you know, to promote and music shows for like 2 to 3 weeks. But I feel like maybe it seems like we're doing things very quick and short, and it feels like, oh, it came and went, or maybe we thought like, oh, it didn't quite have as much depth, maybe because it was meant to be very quick as well. So I don't know. I guess I see it in that sense where maybe there is too much content that doesn't feel very like as much depth.
It's sometimes right. Like sometimes it feels like they're being chased by like whatever date that's set on the calendar for a release. Where like I'm sure there's some room of flexibility, but like some of these releases are being worked on before the one before it is being released, and like some groups are out here dropping like 3-4 releases a year. Half of it being in Japan, another one in America. You know what I mean? Like it's now So like in theory, you have more time to perfect your releases and you drop good stuff, but that isn't always the case. Like I'm looking at the black label artists, particularly Somi and Blackpink, a lot of which we look at and we go, so much hype built in the past 2 years for this release. This is what we got. I don't know. Like,
yeah, we got ice cream. That's what we got, dude. We got ice cream after waiting for like 18 months.
But I mean, I guess to me that makes me feel like, okay, well, it doesn't really matter what the timeline looks like. Then it's just more of like, what is the creative team really focusing on, or maybe Somi as an artist, what she wants to do too. I don't really know how much input she had on that at the time, but I don't know. I feel like certain labels, like, and the ones that stick to mind are like YG, the black label, they create this scarcity, right? Of we're gonna release one thing maybe this year,
yeah, and
that's it. And I feel like, okay, yes, it creates hype, but I also feel like sometimes maybe that hype is not matching what we actually get at the end of the day. And I don't think time has anything to do with it.
That's fair. I think time is a byproduct. It's not a causation. It's more of a correlation. That's a fair point.
Yeah, I think some of these companies are like just trend chasing, and we got to release this song because this is the trend right now. So they just release stuff as well, right?
That's fair. Okay, we have one more hot take.
Oh, we do?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's episode 350. How are you guys feeling?
Not really a take.
My honest feeling is we've done this for so long where it feels second nature. So I think on the show side, we're having fun.
Yeah.
On a musical side, I would say I'm very excited at the youth in the industry. As I've been saying, the rookie groups right now are super strong. And I think it's carrying the industry right now. How exciting these younger groups are. And I think it's honestly in a good place because, when you have a soccer team and you have a lot of good youth players, you're like, man, we're going to be good for a while, That's how I feel like the industry is. Now, do I feel like everyone's kind of releasing the same music? A little bit. But at the same time, I'm hopeful that a lot of these groups will establish their own identities going forward. Which could be fun.
Yeah.
I think like in the general scheme of things, like this year maybe hasn't been the most exciting of music, but like it's also gotten me excited about a lot of these upcoming artists, which I think that's a big part of what keeps me going in K-pop right now. Not that the music isn't not that the music is terrible. Like that's not what I'm trying to say, but on a more personal level, I also agree. It's become like second nature. Like.
The routine.
Right. Like, we've been doing this shit for now. We're at the 8th year now. Bloody hell.
Wow.
I was talking to my girlfriend and she was like, when was the last time you like went out for dinner on a Monday evening? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like
the days we don't have the podcast. That's the answer.
Maybe next week.
I will admit, like doing this in college, doing this early on in my professional career, and doing this now is very different. Where like I have a lot more work commitments going on in life. Like we literally talked about at the top of the show how like I have a work trip coming up next week, so we're gonna have to miss, and like it's a pretty extensive thing. I don't even have time to edit next week, so. A lot of that is catching up as I get older and I look towards my 30s.
Not that old.
And at the same time, I maintain like 4 or 5 different hobbies somehow with my life. I release music. I like cook very often. Like I want to run a marathon one day. I'm not saying that because of the New York Marathon yesterday. I literally want to do that one day in my life, maybe 20 years down the lane. But with a lot of these things going on in life, this is not something I want to give up very easily. Like, we are at a level where
we've been sustaining for a long time.
Oh yeah, we have gotten past the point where we're like, let's break up the band, and now like we're in the situation where we're like,
we're gonna go out with a whisper. Honestly, I feel like one day it's just gonna be like, yeah, we're done, guys. It was fun.
It feels like we've gone past the relationship phase, and now we're in like a married old couple phase where we just fucking keep going.
Wow.
So my honest thought is like, as much as we do this for the audience, we're doing this for ourselves still. I think that we've done this for so long that whenever we decide not to, we'll all look back and say, man, that was crazy that we did that. So the way I see it is kind of cliche. Every day is a blessing with this, We'll keep doing this as long as we're happy.
Live in the present. It's a gift.
But at some point, just know at one point, things are going to come up, life's going to change, and we're just going to say, yeah, it's been a good run, guys, and we'll all agree. And that's about it, right? That's how I see it. So far, we're doing it, though, right?
It's good. We're in a good
spot. It's sustainable right now. I haven't complained about sustainability in a while. We're doing fine, guys. That's what we'll say.
Doing good.
All right, it's been fun. This is season 8 now, episode 350. We got a bit of a patchwork holiday season, but we'll keep grinding. We'll see you guys then.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Episode 350, and many more to come. Bye.
Here's an extra special shout out to all of our Fiesta Patreons on patreon.com. Bagel, Charles, Cotton Ball, Ellie, Gogu Mama, Honey Pools, Incoming Snail, Liam's Games and Toys, Natalie, NJ Parks, South Texas Once, Siu Sumi. And thank you for joining SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. Thank you, really.